You're tuned in to Shake, Rattle, and Goal, the official podcast of your Springfield Thunderbirds.
Pekka's there on the backhand, scoring the save, rebound in the crease, they score!
Hosted by Matt Baker and Steve Forney. A show that's everything Springfield hockey, with interviews including players, coaches, and staff.
The Springfield Indians repeat as the Calder Cup champions.
Listen to this podcast on all major streaming platforms and wherever you download podcasts.
In his first year at the helm, Kevin McDonald and Drew Bannister have the T-Bird in the Calder Cup Finals.
Watch the podcast on the official Shake, Rattle, and Goal YouTube page at SRG Podcast. And now, here are your hosts, Matt Baker and Steve Forney. In this episode number 12 of Season 3 of the Shake, Rattle, and Goal podcast is proudly brought to you by our friends at the MCU Training Center in Agawam, your one-stop shop for all things training in athletics, mcutrainingscenter.com, by our friends at the TDS Center for Communication and Social Learning in Amherst, tdsspeech.com, and by our friends at Landscaping That Fits, landscapingthatfits.com, promo code SRG20. Your days are numbered to get in on that deal before January 1st. So make sure you do. Alongside Matt Baker, I am Steve Forney. What's up, Matt? How are you? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. We'll see each other before then, but Happy New Year to everybody. It's that time of year where everything's 100 miles an hour, and so is this episode, right?
Yeah,
this episode's going to be ripping through things. I mean, it feels like we just recorded yesterday because we kind of almost did. So it's fast. But you sound much better, Steve. Everyone's staying healthy, at least, knock on wood, for the week ahead.
People ask me, they're like, what'd you take? And I'm like, all of it, whatever it was in the house. Yeah. I took everything. So yeah, we're getting there. We are getting there.
There you go.
We'll be good to go by the games coming up this weekend. Yep. And like you said, we have so much stuff to get to. I am going to ask you at some point, but I want to give you time to think about it. What your favorite Christmas song is? It can be a carol, can be a hymn, can be a pop something. So we'll get to that because I want you to sort of let it marinate a little bit. So there are, like I said, tons of stuff to talk about. I think we'll address this off the top because I think a lot of people have questions about this. And you brought it up to me, Matt, and I sort of had no idea. And I think that I'm in the loop on things because I have Twitter and you don't have Twitter. And when you come to me with something and I'm like, how did he get this? He doesn't have Twitter. What does he use for news? We just this whole thing with the ECHL, the collective bargaining agreement, the Players Association. As we stand here tonight on Monday night, the ECHL released a statement that was aggressive, to say the least.
Yes, yes, it was.
About their current situation. And we still don't know if they're actually going to strike. That could happen the day after Christmas, which, again, Merry Christmas, no more hockey. But from what I gather, and I'm not good with red tape and sort of this kind of stuff, but what I gather, the AHL has sort of an agreement in place with the Players Association for a 5-year agreement that still needs to be signed and, agreed upon, ratified. Thank you. But it's there, and that's sort of a technicality, and it looks like we will continue to have hockey and not a strike like the ECHL. So I think we're in good shape, but I do feel bad for the ECHL fans.
Yeah. So I'll share a little bit. I don't have much real factual information to give here, so I'll share my insights because that's what we do anyway.
Right.
I have been on multiple bargaining teams on the teachers union. I've negotiated multiple contracts, so I can kind of read the room a little bit based on this. The ECHL Players Association and you were right, like a pretty intense letter to their fans. Reading that and knowing basically to bullet point things, like they have put it out there in public that they've been negotiating for a year. And the league is dragging their feet. The league is there. They called the league unprofessional. They called the league just a very aggressive tone. As someone who has sat at multiple tables for multiple negotiations, that does not sound like two parties are close. I don't know. I don't know what's holding them up. I don't really know where each side stands, but it doesn't look good. And this to me is like on the players union side is they're posturing to get public on their side and to push the public pressure onto the league. When you upset the fans, the fans are either going to take it two ways. Are you being a selfish, greedy athlete, or is the league taking advantage of you? And so they have clearly positioned themselves to paint the picture to the fans that they're not trying to be greedy. They're looking for fair compensation and fair treatment, and the league is not willing to meet with them, is not. So, it doesn't look like it's going to end without some sort of strike. I have no idea. What I'm trying to find now is what would that mean for call-ups? If you are not working for the ECHL, but you get called up to the AHL, I would think that's not really crossing the picket line. You're playing for a whole nother league. The ECHL team.
That's true. They're independently operated, basically.
So to me, that's not necessarily not, you're still playing on your side. The ECHL team that you play for, let's just stick it to the Thunderbirds, right? If the Thunderbirds call up somebody from the Everblades and that player, it's not like the Everblades are receiving money for that or any sort of compensation for that. So to me, you'd be able to be called up. The question would be, are you able, physically able to be called up? I mean, if you're going any significant amount of time without playing hockey, is a coach calling you up?
Right.
So.
And what are you doing in the meantime to make ends meet?
Yeah, right. So I don't know. If you're AHL team, are you going to just call up, hey, we got these 5 bubble players. They're not going to play in the ECHL, so let's just call them up and have an extra practice session with them or once in a while, I don't know, just to keep their legs fresh.
And is that in sort of bad faith? Like if let's say you're a union rep in the AHL and your AHL team is like, hey, we're going to call up these 6 guys just to keep their legs fresh. Is that where the conflict comes into the AHL players union, where they're like, well, we support the, I see, or maybe it's the other way around where the ECHL league is looking at a team, pick one, who's calling up a bunch of ECHL players to keep them fresh and saying, what are you doing? We're trying to negotiate here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like there's got to be some sort of conflict of interest there somewhere. I'm not, again, I'm part of the teachers union as well. And I have to pick my words carefully because I don't know anything really about it. And I play ball. You know what I mean? I don't like to join things. I'm politically independent, but I was like, teachers union for my job. Sure, I'll join. But I also believe there's 2 sides to every story. And so I read this thing from the ECHL of players and I'm like, okay, great statement. I want to read the league statement too, because again, when you put things out there in the public, it's to benefit you and it's to make the other side look bad. And so I'm always like, okay, well, what's the other side have to say here? And to me, it's like, I look at the ECHL and the WNBA. The WNBA right now, not to go down this tangent too far, but they're in the same way where they're demanding, they might lock out and have a strike this season. And it's like you have Caitlin Clark and you have money coming in without the league. Why would you sort of put the kibosh on something that actually is gaining momentum? For the ECHL, I look at it and I'm like, well, guys, what else do you have?
Yeah.
As an ECHL player, okay, so you're on strike. Where are you going to go? Switzerland? And you can, but why would you do that when you're living comfortably in Florida or, Kalamazoo or wherever you are? Why would you just up and move? So I don't know. I don't know what the benefit is to the players. And even the statement, it's like, well, we don't have helmets that fit our players. And it's like, do you really not have helmets that fit? Like, are you like, please, sir, I like some more. Like, you don't have helmets that fit? Like, how do you not like? So I don't know. I don't know these things, but I read those things. I have trust issues, so I
Yeah.
read those things, and I'm like, because I worked in news for a long time, so I know the game. I
Yep.
don't.
Yeah.
You're from the bargaining table side. I'm from the news side of reading these things and breaking them down. And I'm like, I read the stuff. I'm like, really? Like, it's that bad? Like, how could it like how does a league survive if it's as bad as they say it is? So like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know much about the deal or the gist, but I look at it and I'm like, all right, well, I want to hear from the other side. And at the same time, I'm like, do I want to hear from the other side, or do
Yeah.
I just want to show up in Springfield and play some AHL
Yeah.
hockey?
Well,
You know
that's
what I
it
mean?
too, right? Like it. We're lucky, and knock on wood, that this doesn't sound like it's going to affect the AHL, like in its face.
Right.
But like I said, like for me, I am. How does it affect call-ups? I mean, you selfishly for the Thunderbirds, you have a Blues team that is injured and not getting healthier at the moment, and right now you're bare bones in Springfield. So like there was a scare yesterday in Sunday's game, with Hugh McGing, where he kind of is down, gets up slow, and Ryan mentions like, oh, this is not what they need, another forward down. So like
Yep.
it could be a thing where call-ups, it impacts call-up availability. I don't know that. I will say, and then I can move on from this as well. Like I completely agree with you. There are always two sides to a story, and especially at the bargaining table, there are two perspectives. We get to hear one, and I will say, like, what I am very confident in is this is the players' union's chance to sway the public so far into their favor before the league makes a statement, and they're going to paint their picture the way they want us to see it. I completely agree. It's a bargaining tactic. I will say though, I tend to be on the side of the little guy,
Sure.
aka
Me too.
not the league.
Me too.
So I do think if you're like, it's plausible to me that they probably don't have helmets that fit. Now that might mean you're one guy who's a call up. I don't know what ECHL call up would look like, but like maybe that guy has to bring his own helmet. And if it doesn't fit right, like he gets a used helmet because he's got to match this. Like I could see that being a case. So you're going to take like maybe a handful of situations and paint it like this is everybody. This is happening to everybody.
Right.
But there's going to be some truth to that. Somewhere in that league, there's a player playing with a helmet that doesn't fit. And if they're looking for a guarantee that all equipment fits, like that could be what they're asking for. Again, I have no idea. I do also know, like, if you're the league, you are probably using the leverage that you have, like, and you said it, where else you going to play?
Right.
Where else you going? Oh, you want to pack up and go to Sweden? It's going to cost you more money than it is to play for us for bare bones.
Right.
So there's that element of it too. I would imagine a lot of these ECHL guys are not necessarily your high-end prospects. I'm not. Colton Ellis was an ECHL guy.
No, and I'll bet you they're 20 somethings without a family. I mean, they're not married. They don't have 3 kids. So you're 22 years old. Yeah, I'll go to Sweden. Sure, I'll go to Latvia. Sounds beautiful. I'll go to wherever. So they do kind of have that in their favor. But yeah, I don't know. It's just it's convoluted. It's red tapey. It's just it kind of is what it is. And like I said, thankfully, we're not having this conversation about our own team and looking at the games on the 27th and 28th and being like, I don't know if I'm showing up to work on Saturday. Because that could legitimately be the case, and that might legitimately be the case in the ECHL. So
I think there could be impacts and ramifications to the AHL, but not in a league stoppage kind of way like the ECHL is. But can this impact the AHL? It can. It probably will, but not in a league stoppage kind of way. Is what it appears to me.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, for those of you who got a popsicle headache, please come on back. We'll get off of that, but Matt, your insight is actually great because I don't know. I don't know much about this, I guess. And
Yeah.
so I appreciate you kind of educating me a little bit on how that all goes. Cause I look at like I said, from a different lens than you do from our time dealing with these situations. So that's fascinating. Um Period, new paragraph. 9 out of 10 points.
Let's go.
9 out of 10 points on this road trip. We are in a playoff spot.
Yeah.
I mentioned this is a 3-horse race for number 6, and right now you are in number 6. Specifically the weekend in Charlotte, Matt. What did you see that you liked, that you didn't like? Your overall sort of vibe and takeaway from the 2 games down in Charlotte.
I love it. And let me say this too, and we're gonna maybe possibly talk about this during fan rants as well. I was before Sunday's game, I was looking at the standings with Tyler, and I'm like, this is what and Tyler, for those of you who don't know, is my 11-year-old son. So he looks at things
11, man,
yeah, crazy.
getting old quick.
In my 11-year-old lens, and he's looking at the standings, and he's like, wow, the Thunderbirds have 11 regulation losses. That's the same as Hershey. That's the same as Lehigh Valley. Now, granted, they've got 9 wins, and both Hershey and Lehigh Valley have 14 wins, but it's like, it to me, it's like looking at things with a little bit more of a glass half full kind of, not
Sure.
my jaded way. So it's like, you're absolutely right. And it was a dreadful start to the season. Who knows why? But moving forward, being optimistic, this team is right there. 9 wins, 11 regulation losses. I think what this road trip showed you is that when this team is in the right frame of mind, I'm going to go to like, that's where the beginning of this season, maybe it was Colton Ellis getting swept up on waivers. Maybe it was a couple bad breaks and a couple players unhappy with their role and their future prospect with the big club. Maybe it was a bunch of different stuff, but I don't know if they were in the right headspace, because even their body language when they go down 1-0 was, here we go again. Now their body language on their PK, on their special teams, playing 5-on-5 after they let up a goal, their body language is just, it's different. So what I saw this weekend, 2 games in Charlotte, not an easy place to play, was just a team that has confidence that they can play with anyone in the league, or at least anyone in the division, right? And their goaltending is hot right now, red hot. It would be nice for them to play this way in a whole nother month, 2 months, the rest of the season. I think there's going to be another little lull. That's hockey, right? But hopefully it's limited. Hopefully their lengthy low was to start the season. But here they are. I think you got Dylan Peterson, 3 goals on the weekend. Both goalies, big saves. Defense played well. Matthew Pekka gets a goal. Hugh McGing hit the score sheet. Wagner hit the score sheet. So all these guys, and you're looking at the lines, and Dylan Dubé, I thought, played well. I don't know if he tallied an assist or not. I could try to.
I think he might have got one on the. He should have got one on the empty netter. At least.
So, but I think he looked fast, and he looked, physical and ready to play. So I think all the things that you're wanting just to see from a team sort of click, they're clicking, and you get 9 out of 10 points. You're almost at like a point per game now kind of clip, the second half of December. What more can you ask for?
I think I'll take it one step further. What I think it is, and you'd be shocked. Since they traded Nikita Alexandrov, they have points in 6 out of 7.
Yeah, and Lucic.
Lucic too, but I think sometimes all it takes is getting is one guy. And it's not like
Yeah.
it's not like Nikita. We traded Alexandrov and somebody else has come in and dominated because we are still waiting for Akil Tom.
Waiting for that player to play. Hasn't played.
Still waiting for Akil Tom. I don't know what the deal is, but I'm waiting for this guy, right? So all you did was subtract Alexandrov and win and get points in 6 out of 7.
Yeah.
So to me, it almost verifies my thinking of that he was sort of dragging them down. And it's not, you think, well, it's just one player. It is, but how many shifts, how many extra shifts or double shifts did the Pekka, Luff, and whoever else over this weekend in Charlotte? How many extra shifts did they have when that was Pekka, Luff, Alexandrov?
Yeah.
It wasn't reliable. And now it is, whether it's Pekarchik or Stützle. Now you're giving those minutes to Wagner.
Yeah.
Like, you're giving those minutes to guys that have earned it.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, just filling that void of minutes and power play and penalty kill, everything's been sharper since he's gone. The power play, penalty, everything's been better.
Yeah.
So I draw a direct correlation between you getting him out of the room and giving those minutes to other players, and the results have worked. And so the attitude, the loping around on the ice, all that has seemed to go away because it's getting filled by other guys who want to be there, want to play, want to give 110% effort. And so that's sort of where I make the connection of like what switch flipped when they traded Alexandrov. To me is where it kind of turned around. And, it could be anything, but that's sort of where that's where my take has taken me. So I'm going to ride that thing.
I'm not surprised. Like you kind of, maybe I just didn't want to say it out loud.
I will.
No, but I mean, but it's a fair point. And look, I mean, like I said, I think, I wonder if the Lucic thing had something to do with it too. Like, are they playing a little timid? Are they worried about, because I don't think Lucic was great for the fan base who, right after you trade away, we talked about it on the show, right? You trade away Sam Bitten. What the heck are you doing? Right. And then you bring in Lucic and you're like, okay.
Yeah. All right. That works.
All right. Yeah. Cool. But he clearly just wasn't good, right? He wasn't good. And I don't know. I think when you get past the stardom of that, you're like, well, yeah, it makes sense. The dude is 37 years old and he hasn't played hockey in 2 years. So that makes sense. Right. So did you have 2 of your 4 forward lines playing at a massive disadvantage because you were giving a shot to an old guy who can't hack it anymore? And I don't mean it to be as harsh as that sounds. And your other number 2 line, your 1 or 2 line, like Lucic was around that 3 line, and then you had Nicky bouncing between the 1 and the 2. You're also playing at a disadvantage, almost a borderline power play when he's out there. So 50% of the time, are you playing almost shorthanded because you're out there and maybe Lucic is giving it his everything, but just, again, his everything wasn't good enough. It didn't hack it. Right. And then you had an Alexandrov for, I don't like it. I think I get it, why he was frustrated and maybe not happy with the situation. So it's a fresh start for everybody. But I think you're right. I think those dark clouds, those heavy shoulders, they weigh on you in a locker room. And especially with somebody that with an Alexandrov, where you've had a relationship with, the core group of guys have had a relationship with him over the years. So they probably, and they get it too, right? They feel his angst with the situation. And so, how much does that, you're always walking on eggshells, walking into the locker room,
right?
Totally speculating here, but those situations can't help. You got rid of that nonsense. You got rid of sort of, again, walking on eggshells. And now you could just go out there and worry about playing puck. And
I mean, well, just for the on ice, you're coming down on a 2-on-1 and you're Nikita Susuyev and Lucic is the other guy with you. You're shooting or passing.
You're going to pass, right?
You're going to pass. If you're Sam Stang and you're coming down with Nikita Alexandrov, you're going to shoot or pass. You're going to pass.
Right.
So yes, everything you're saying is true both on and off the ice, to where you're like, oh, there's Milan Lucic, I got to give him the puck. Oh, there's Milan Lucic, I got to give him the puck. No, you are good too.
Right.
Go. And we talked about them passing too much. How many times were guys overpassing because the other guy was Lucic or Alexandrov, or you know what I mean? And so they're starting to learn now, could that, the game they lost in a shootout, Nicky's had that flub that ended the game. What if that was literally anybody else? Literally anybody else, right? So he was taking up spots, clogging lanes for younger players. And now that that's not there, they can all kind of, I guess, open up a little bit more. And is there a little bit of that with Matt Luff? Like, you're out there and you're like, oh, well, this guy is twice my age and really good, I got to get him the puck. I don't feel that. I don't feel like guys are like, oh, there's Matt Luff. I feel like it's more like crash the back post just in case I miss. It's kind of thing. So I think it affected on the ice too. So again, total speculation. We could be completely speculating. It's only what our eyes and sort of brains tell us. Yeah, right. Exactly. But we're trying to draw the line somewhere as to where this went right. In terms of where they are now, that to me is kind of the big one, and still waiting on Akil Thomas.
Bottom line though is, go ahead. Go finish your thought.
I was just going to say, I had guys from St. Louis like, hey, how did Dylan Dubé look? And my only answer was better than Lucic.
Yeah. Bottom line is, we don't know where, how, or it's going right. And that's the thing is my big thing was a few weeks ago. I can't tell you with confidence on like reporting. I can't say with confidence, this will be a playoff team. I can say with confidence now, there's still a big mountain to climb, And do you want to sort of just fly into that 6th seed? No, you want to continue to play good hockey. But you're seeing games, not clips, your games of, this is playoff. This is what they're going to have to do. Now, I will say it's not all roses, like, right? An overtime loss on Sunday, and 100% right now the team needs points, so you take it how you get it. But sooner or later, this team's going to have to learn how to win 3-on-3 hockey or a shootout. I truthfully, honestly, I want to say early last year was the last shootout win this team had against Bridgeport. I could be wrong on that. I didn't even try to research this. I'm just going off my memory. I can't really remember the last time they won a shootout. It's been a while. But last year, I was very confident with them in overtime. If they got to that overtime period, I felt confident. You had guys like Dvorsky, Pekka, Luff, Nicky, Alexandrov for that last year, right? Like those guys, I was.
According to AI, the last Thunderbirds shootout win was February 23rd, 2025.
So almost a year ago.
Coming up.
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost. Like,
they don't play in a lot of them. They don't play in a lot of them, but it's
so like, but this year, I do not believe they have an overtime win yet. And I know Ryan called it right in yesterday's game. Hunter Skinner pinches. He's going for that wraparound bid, loses the puck, and that is what created the odd man rush there. And right before Hunter Skinner took the puck up, here's Ryan. There's 17 seconds left, and as Ryan is great, right? So, and he called it. He's like, you just have to don't blow it here, right? You have to be aware, and this is your last push. It's either got to be you or nobody, right? Like, and sure enough, it was somebody else, right? So, again, you got the point, so it's not the end of the world, but sooner or later, I'd like them to win it, especially when if they're division opponent, right? Yeah, you get one, but Charlotte gains one on you.
Well, let me throw some sunshine on this just a little bit, because
of course,
the way that this season started, they were lucky to get anyone to overtime.
Agreed.
And when you're losing 5-2, 6-2, 7-3, 4-1, 3-, overtime's not even on the table.
Agree.
So it's not like they've been in 10 overtime games and have lost 9. I think they've maybe been in 3 and they've lost 2, or maybe lost all 3. But either way, that number's low. So
they've been in 6.
They've been in six.
They've
Seems
got
high.
They've got 4 overtime losses and 2 shootout losses.
Wow, that number's
So
higher than I thought it would be.
that
Thank goodness you take notes.
I have the standings pulled up right here, and that's why though. Like you have
6 seems high.
it does, but that I mean they got 4 overtime losses and 2 shootout losses. That's why you're able to, with only 9 wins though, sit in 6th place. So the points matter. I'm not trying to say like I'd rather have them lose in regulation, but I think there will come a time where it's like, hey, can you get that win?
Yeah.
Can you
because have the killer instinct. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
have the killer instinct to go out there, the confidence, the swagger to be like, we're gonna win this thing.
Especially, I mean, in a 5-minute period. Again, yesterday's game, they were outshot 7-1. And it's like, all right, the ice is wide open for you. You got to get more than one shot. And we talk about it like with a 6'8" goalie, it's harder to move the puck around, kind of. Well, it really isn't, right? A 3-on-3, if you get right, if you the ice space is there. I think it's a little bit harder. But you're outshot 7-1 in overtime. Good news is,
did it feel that way to you though? Because I feel like I felt like they were all right. Like I felt like it was a back and forth helter skelter. I felt like they were hanging in, and it
wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but I mean, I think Georgi Romanov had about 4 saves that you're like, oh, and that's what, for me as the fan watching, I was like, oh, with 17 seconds left, like just because Georgie played really, really good in that overtime period. He was a stonewall, right? So that was the tough part of it. They didn't look lost out there. It's just, I think they might have had 3 possessions. One was the last one that Hunter Skinner let. One possession they had where they kept the ball, the puck, for 45 seconds or so, I felt. And then another one, I think Lindstein kept coming in, coming out, and didn't really generate any real danger. But, it's not a complaint as much as just like, hey, can we just maybe get an overtime win sometime soon?
Sure.
And hopefully against an Atlantic Division opponent. Because again, sure, you're getting that point, which right now the T-Birds need. That was the hole they dug themselves in. They need every point they can get. But you're also, if you can continue to win and you're looking up, you don't want the teams above you still gaining 1 point. You want to be the one gaining the point.
Right.
So
the good news is that they've proven, and I talked about it being a 3-horse race. They've proven they can hang with Hershey in Hershey. They've proven they can hang with Lehigh Valley in Lehigh Valley. Mm-hmm. So the expectations,
they have wins over everybody.
Yeah, actually, the expectations were high, and then they dipped, and now they're coming up again because you've proven that you can play against some of these teams.
Yeah, you have a win in Providence, you have a win in Charlotte, you have a win in Lehigh Valley, and you have a win in Hershey. The only place you have not had, if I could be wrong, I don't think they've beaten the Penguins in Wilkes-Barre Scranton yet this year. So, but that's the only. Other than that, you've proven you can win in somebody else's.
Have they beaten Bridgeport and Bridgeport yet? That's the question.
Well, they might not have.
We didn't run those numbers.
Yeah, they're below them right now. So
I get what
but you know what I'm saying.
Of course.
And I agree with you. Is that I think this team is showing that they can play with anybody, anywhere, and that's a good thing. They're playing. They're playing with that confidence again.
For sure. And it was nice to see, again, I thought for the most part, the shot totals were decent. Yep. But to me, it looked tight in their own zone. And I think the hardest part is that you played a team like Charlotte that has a penalty kill just as good as yours, maybe a little worse because the Thunderbirds are on a pretty awesome heater here with their power play or with their penalty kill. Yep. So when you do get a game, now granted they won on Saturday, but they went 0 for 5 on the power play. Yeah. So there are things like that. Here they are getting 9 out of 10 points, and all we've done is talk about things that they should work on. But that's the fan in us, right? And
yep.
That's one of those sort of glaring things that I'm like, man, if they played a team who's penalty kill isn't that great. And the other thing too is the goalie, man, the Cooper Black. I'm convinced the only reason they have him on the team is to play against Springfield because they can't. They have these big goalies, man. And
how about the other
Islanders
guy
have
too? I didn't
one.
even know. We were talking about, are they going to let Domingue play
Yeah.
or right? I got the other guy up there. He's 6'7".
Yeah, something about milk. What's that guy's? I'm looking. I gotta look it up. Grass milk. Grass milk.
It
Milk.
says he's
I think
6'2" here. I thought he was bigger than that. He looked bigger than that.
looked bigger than that. Yeah,
I
grass
don't know,
milk.
but yeah, Cooper Black, 6'8". Dude's huge.
So, we do have tons to get to. Again, like I said, we're moving quick here. So we do have fan rants. We have to look forward to what I think is one of the best matchups in our bracket, and we have the results of last week's matchup, 4 days ago's matchup, which I think was tighter than I think it might have been our tightest matchup so far in terms of the voting. So we're going to get to that too. But we do want to thank our friends at the TDS Center for Communication and Social Learning in Amherst. Founder and owner Teresa Dooley-Smith and her husband Brian have spent their professional lives dedicated to children and young adults of Western Mass since 1996. They offer a variety of therapeutic interventions, direct family supports, consultation services, social programming and social emotional learning. Their experienced therapists and staff develop programs to meet your and your child's needs. For more information, you can visit tdsspeech.com. You can also call them 413-835-0735. They have opportunities all across Western Massachusetts. Happy to help anyone in your area. So do please reach out to those fine folks there. To our friends at the MassCon United Training Center in Agawam, from beginners to pro, MCU Training Center is a one-stop shop to improve your game with the top local trainers and their knowledge, skills, and training to develop programs that will make you a better player no matter your skill level or sport. Small player to coach ratio that allows them to deal with each individual skater, player of whatever it is, right firsthand. And again, we're talking soccer, lacrosse, basketball, baseball, golf, hockey, floor hockey, field hockey, weight training, agility. They kind of do it all. You want a kid's birthday party and you don't want them staring at arcade machines. No offense, Brewcade. We still love you guys. Give them a call, 301-6040, and visit mcutrainingcenter.com. I'm going to have to edit that out. And of course, by our friends at Landscaping That Fits, guys, time is running out. I can't do math. Was it 31 days in December? So you got like a week here to get in at landscapingthatfits.com. Promo code SRG20 for all of your fertilizer needs come spring, summer, fall, and heading into next winter. Just let Rob and his team deal with it, so you don't have to. It's one less thing you don't have to, and that code's going to get you 20% off all of your fertilization for the year 2026. So please check out landscapingthatfits.com. Use the promo code SRG20, and you are going to get 20% off of your fertilizing needs for all of next year. And I'm looking forward to doing it myself. So trust me, as a valued customer of Landscaping That Fits, it works. So big thank you to Rob. Big thank you to MCU Training Center. Big thank you to the TDS Center for Communication and Social Learning as well. Where would you like to head now, Matt? Because we got a lot stuff here, and I don't mind bouncing all over. We want to go fan rants. What do you want?
Let's do our T-Bird polls. Then we'll do the fan rants, and then look ahead. We'll
copy that.
Wrap it up there. So we had Tucker versus Kessel this week, and Steve, I think you're right. This was the most contested. No, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think this was the tightest. Yeah,
this was a tight race. So the winner advancing to play to go up against Tommy Cross in a month or so will be Tyler Tucker. Tyler Tucker edges out Matthew Kessel 34-23. I did, folks. I think this one's on me. I think when I created the post with the image, like how I worded the post, said, hey, comment below. I meant to say comment on the post below so it's the actual poll. So, but we had tons of comments of votes. So I did. I went through them all. I counted them.
Doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, but Tyler Tucker, he was winning in our Instagram poll. He was winning in the Facebook poll, and he was winning in the Facebook comments as well. So pretty confident we're on the up and up here. Tyler Tucker wins. I told you I would kind of share my little, and I'll be brief here. to me, this was a fun matchup because not only was it sort of, and you kind of talk about like the power versus the finesse, right? I kind of saw these players too as similar position, similar time that they were here, but to me, Matthew Kessel was much more approachable player with a lot of the fan interaction and player interaction that I do with the boys. Anytime we met Matthew Kessel, smiling, happy. Last year, around this time, he was sent down for a little stint here in Springfield. We saw him at the Basketball Hall of Fame. Took a picture with my kids, gave them high fives, signed their pucks, signed their posters. Like, it was all great stuff. Tyler Tucker, not that he wasn't, but he just seemed to be a little bit more edgy. And I remember after one game, he was sent down. And I don't remember if it was a rehab assignment or not, but he was down here, and it was the player meet and greet after the game for a 1 hour thing at the Mass Mutual Center. And hey, you're trying to like, hey, glad to see you. How's everything going up? And he just was like very
to the point.
Yeah, good. Nice to see you guys. Thanks for coming out. Moving on, right? So not as friendly. So I held higher. I held Matthew Kessel a little bit higher as far as how he approaches the fan and the player interaction. But on the ice, Tyler Tucker was a better T-Bird. So fans, I think we got this one right. I mean, we were very open at the start of the show a few years ago that we were just like, Matthew Kessel just doesn't seem like the kind of guy I'd want to go gambling with because he always just had that dumb luck.
So
A puck would bounce over his stick and it would lead to a breakaway and the team would score and the T-Birds would lose by 1. Matthew Kessel, it would against Hershey a few years ago. This is actually what the puck bounces off his skate and then it go right to Sam Annis and he scores and they win by 1. It was like, so it was always Kessel, wrong place, wrong time. Yep. Dumb luck working against him, but you always saw those flashes of talent there. But for me on the ice, my vote would have been Tucker. I think fans, we got this one right.
Yeah, and again, it's funny, when they were both really in their prime was when I was not here, and I know I mentioned that I was out in Boston. But you're so right. I feel like I think we're thinking of the same game where one defenseman was just trying to clear the puck, and of course it hits Kessel like in the back or in the skate or whatever. It goes right to a Hershey opposing team, and they score. And Kessel's looking around like, what just happened? And it's like, well, dude, you're in the way. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm glad that they're both doing well up in St. Louis, staying in St. Louis, on NHL rosters. And the biggest thing that I'll just say from their time compared to other players in the organization, they went up and they played NHL minutes, and then they got sent down, and they came down here and they balled. They played hard. Yes. They worked hard. They were leaders. They tried to help others. They embraced the environment and didn't fight the environment. When you're fighting the environment, that's when you end up like Jakub Vrana. Okay, so I give them both credit for that, for coming down and sort of balling out and playing hard. And I think for me, the Tucker was the more surprising one because he'd been up for a long time. And I'm like, oh man, this guy's going to come down and be disgruntled. And then he had like a hit and a fight and an assist. And I'm like, all right, like the guy came to play. Like, all right, we got something here. So I do give them both sort of credit for that. Just in terms of, when I hear the name, to me, Tyler Tucker is just, I like him more. I don't know. I like him more. Nothing, no more, no less. I just like the guy more. So that would have been my vote too. So but that was a good one. That was a good matchup.
That was going. And to your point, like you're absolutely right. And young kids listening, like use this as a lesson for you too. Tyler Tucker, specifically him, made it impossible for the Blues to keep him down here in Springfield. I think he had like 5 goals in a 4-game stretch when he was sent down last year. I remember 2 were power play goals. And I think it was actually Ryan was like, this was the first power play goal of Tyler Tucker's career. And then like the next game he had another one, and then St. Louis was like, all right, yeah, he's got to stay. Yeah. And that's what you do. You make it impossible for this team to send you down. And they're not, neither one of them are top defensive pairing. Like they're bottom guys.
No,
They
but they're
have
no, but
they
they're
have,
they're NHL guys.
but
you
they're
know?
NHLers, right? And
Yep.
they're there, and they're up there to stay, and they get 75% of the games, and so good for them. I completely agree with you. Yeah. So on to the next.
Ooh, this is a big one.
This is a fun one. So,
big one.
folks, we are moving back over to our forward winger side of the bracket here. This is our 4-5 matchup. Number 4, Hugh Money McGing versus number 5, Will Smitten for Bitten. Enough said.
So this is one of those moments. Just a quick interjection. You're probably wondering, well, why Will and not Sam? Sam is a fan favorite. We know that. Just the body of work. Sam's got more points than Hershey. I'm not looking at it. I'm assuming he's got more points than Hershey in the last 20 games than he had here in 2 seasons. I love him like a brother. I love both of these guys like brothers. I'm the third Bitten, but Will has had the better career, the better time, the more impactful career here in Springfield. So that's why it's Will and not Sam. So Sam's not in the bracket. Just to give you one other one, because I feel bad because he's local and I like him. Super nice guy. Paul Thompson didn't make the list. Main reason being we sort of A, ran out of room, and B, he left here and then I think became the captain in Bridgeport.
Yeah.
And then I think he played for Hartford. So it's like, ooh, that sort of kind of stained, I think, some of the fans' memories of Paul Thompson here. So we had to narrow it down. We had to pick. And so we chose Will over Sam. So that's why it's Will and not Sam. And I still think that's the right choice because I think that this is going to be a really good matchup. I think recency bias might affect this.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
Fans, don't forget how good Will was during that stretch, how important he was when he was here, how important the Hockey Fights Cancer Night and Bitsy's Army, which that he spearheaded. Just keeping that in mind.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you where I'm voting, but
this was a good one. And Steve, you're right. I mean, there's no doubt how much people loved Sam Bitten, but let's also the reason you loved Sam Bitten before he skated was because of Will Bitten,
right?
Too. So it was a tough choice, but he had, yeah. All right. So here we go. Our number 4 seed in our bracket, Hugh Money McGing, number 1 on the list of games played for T-Birds. Number 1. I'm looking through this list that Elite Prospects puts together, and I'm like, where's Hugh McGing? Oh, okay. There's Will Bitten, number 9 on the list. Where's Hugh McGing? I couldn't find him. I'm like, all right, let me start again. It's because he's number 1, and I usually skip over 1, 2, 3, So Hugh McGing,
start a third of the way down. Yeah.
Yeah. Hugh McGing, number 1 in games played for the Thunderbirds over 5 seasons. He's played in 278 games for your T-Birds. He's got 57 goals, 96 assists for a total of 153 points. That is a 0.55 point per game average. He also has his own bobblehead.
He does.
Will Bitten.
And a guest on the SRG podcast.
Yes, yeah. Well, both of them. Both of them
were. Yep.
Both of them were. So Will Bitten, number 9 on your games played lists for the Springfield Thunderbirds. Will Bitten, 178 games, 49 goals, 54 assists for a total of 103 points. That is a 0.58 points per game average. He also he doesn't have a bobblehead, but he has his own. I probably still has it. His own Instagram account that was Smitten for Bitten. A fan page, not him personally, his own account. Fans created a Smitten for Bitten account.
Love that.
I am not a member of that, but I do have a friend who is on it.
I did not know about this until now. That's interesting.
Yeah. One of your former neighbors may or may not have
okay.
joined that one.
Right.
So anyway, look, I read the numbers, but for me, this is a fun one because we could say no numbers here, right? Numbers are just numbers. I think what both of these players bring to the rink night in and night out, boom, end of story. Night in and night out, what these players bring is 100% energy, 100% talent. No doubt about it, you're going to get what you get from both of these players. And at one point, they were both part of the double McBitten line, which was just fantastic. I think like a Hugh McGing, we talk about it all the time. Currently, still was the lightning rod of this team, always bringing the energy, always bringing a spark. Will Bitton was a guy who I think when he really wanted to up the level, he did. At Bitsy's Army, hat trick. If I remember the last season he played with the T-Birds, I believe might have been the last home game he played with the T-Birds was the Napoleon Dynamite night. And
he had a hat trick.
He had a hat trick. And I remember he goes, "Hey, Steve, if I get this hat trick, I want you to throw the wig onto the ice for me." And sure enough, he scores a hat trick, and then boom, the wig goes flying over the boards.
And
right?
I love that.
Yes. So I both of these players, and I think what great locker room guys they were, and just stand up, honest, hardworking, young men. And so this will be a fun one. We just got done with a close one. I would imagine this is going to be just as close. And I'm with you, Steve. I'm not going to, I honestly, I don't know where I'm going to vote for this one. Fans, take a minute and remember those days when Will was here. They both played on the same team. Remember those teams. And there's no doubt about it. Hugh McGing has the most games played ever for a T-Bird ever. So he's number one there, but take a minute to think about this one. Take a minute to think about this.
It's interesting because they're very, very similar in their play style and what they bring on a nightly basis. And I love it both. And I have no problem. Hugh McGing, I think, is my favorite player on this roster right now, as we speak, and has been for a while. But it's unbelievable how they had the skill and the leadership and the effort. And then every now and then you'd get a 5-game stretch from both of these guys where all of a sudden they're just hitting everything in sight. Yeah. And you're like, why is Hugh McGing hitting this guy who's 6'3"? Pick on someone your own size. And same thing for Will Bitton, who again wasn't the biggest guy. And one of my best memories was one game where I don't have it in front of me. Sam fights a guy. And then the next shift, Will fights a guy, and the two of them are in the penalty box. They're like, "Yeah, bro!" They're doing this bro hug.
Bash Brothers, yes.
And it was awesome. It was like one of those. Like, what's your favorite T-Bird memory?
That was Bridgeport. I think that was Bridgeport.
Yeah, that might be one of my favorite all-time Thunderbirds memories. Was the Bitton brothers? Yeah, the Smash brothers getting into those two fights. So when I look at this list, two of my favorite players on this list going head to head, Hugh McGing and Will Bitton. Will, from what he tells me, he's doing great out there in the KHL, and I don't know. Hopefully, we can see him back when his contract is up at the end of the KHL season. But just two guys that you walk away from talking to either of these players, and maybe you're a fan and you caught them, outside, or you saw them at a restaurant or something like that. You walk away being like, "That's a good dude." That's a good dude. If my daughter brought home a guy like this, I'd be like, okay, this guy gets it. He's a good guy, good person, nice manners, looks you in the eye, shakes your hand, both of them. Wonderful, wonderful humans. So this is going to be a tough one. I think this one's going to be super close, and it is hard because their play styles, like I said, are the same. And the other nice thing, back to on the ice, put them anywhere in your lineup. First line, fourth line, penalty kill, power play. Doesn't matter where you put them, they will play it and they will excel at it. So two guys that I thoroughly enjoy watching their game. I wish Will was still here. I love that Hugh was still here. Couple of guys that you pull for, you root for, and you hope for the best for their careers. So
I didn't think about it until and what you just said. If I'm not mistaken, Will Bitton won our SRG Unsung Hero Award the first year. And I think Hugh McGing won it last year.
The second year. Yeah.
So there you go. Because we use that argument. Will Bitton was the only player on that year that played line 1, 2, 3, and 4, power play, and PK. The only player that throughout the season was up and down. And where do you need him? He'll play there,
Anywhere.
and where do you want him? Like, what was his? So yeah, I'm with you there. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
All
So
right,
this would
fans,
be great.
get out there and vote. Get out there
a-
and vote.
And again, please save Matt the legwork. Wait for the poll to come out. Like there's an
Vote
actual
on the poll.
and
Yeah.
it's not Matt's fault. It's Facebook's fault. Facebook is a pain. So look for the poll. Go to our actual page, and there will be a poll. Maybe we can pin it to the profile, something like that,
Yeah.
because this is going to be an important one. And I don't want Matt to have to sift through 40 comments to one forbidden, one from a game, two forbidden, two from a game.
Yeah.
If you can just hit the actual vote button, that would be super helpful for us and for Matt, and because he does all the work here. I just kind of show up. So, yeah, that's going to be a good one, and we can't wait to see how it turns out.
All right, let's get into some quick fan rants. We do have a few, John and Daniel, a few others that mention the ECHL. We kind of talked about it at the beginning. I don't know what it means. Like, I hope, I don't think it will prevent players from being called up. I just don't know what shape they'll be in if and when they get called up, if that makes sense, right? If they can't practice, if they're not playing, and this holdout lasts for a week or two, and then somebody gets injured on the T-Birds and you got to call somebody up, you might looking for a player on loan before you look for an ECHL call up. So John, Daniel, I know you guys were talking about ECHL. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I do want to say Richard Brennan, the first step, his fan rant. First step is getting to 500. I would say that's the next step. Like I'm with you. Like that next step. All right, you've climbed a little bit. You're not in the cellar of the division. Now let's get to 500. Let's get those regulation wins, or quite honestly, an overtime win counts the same as a regulation win. So let's get those wins, and let's get to 500. I'm with you.
Yeah, I think it's baby steps, and it's like win a game. Okay, we'll win a period. Okay, we'll win a face-off. Okay, we'll win a board battle. Like take this big giant thing and bring it down to the micro. And I've been saying it for how long. Puck luck comes from effort, and to see Matt Luff get that goal that was complete puck luck on Saturday, they earned it. And so the more of this kind of mentality, the more that they continue to, death by 1,000 paper cuts, as they say, win those tiny battles, work on those little tiny things, the big picture is going to become more clear. And so, yeah, I'm not. So we'll go to Sam, who I love you, Sam. Just a little too big picture. Sam says, I'm very good, very proud of how far this team's come. I can't express how happy I am to see that. I already have my playoff predictions: Hershey versus the Thunderbirds. I think Hershey takes it in 3. I know this will get some hate, but I'm very proud of this team. I can't even wrap my head around a playoff series against literally anyone.
It would be a fun matchup from a fan perspective, I think, because of Schooneman and Sam Bitten being there.
Sure.
But
I know I'm taking it literally shift by shift. Never mind period by period. Never mind game by game. Never mind weekend by weekend. I am so micro focused on because of, as he said, they've dug themselves this hole. So I can't think big picture yet. I have to literally go down to the bare bones and to see the progress being made. And so what I saw this weekend was progress for sure. Yeah. What I saw on this road trip, right? Bigger picture, this road trip was progress for sure. This weekend to me is going to be are you going out there giving 125% effort and winning board battles, winning puck battles, clearing zones, dominating the neutral zone, keeping things away from your goal, rebounds away from your goalie. All those little things are going to lead to victories, and I just want to continue to see all the little things.
Yeah, we can't be too worried about playoff this, that. Yes, right now they're sitting in 6th, but again, they're from a point basis, they're tied with Bridgeport, and Hartford is sitting there with 23 points. So you literally are one night away from a Hartford victory and you not winning, and now boom, you're now outside looking in. So I would expect
and then you play Bridgeport on Sunday.
Right. So it's it's going to be up and down. And that's where I'm like, the next step for me now, all right, we've climbed back. Now we're in the thick of it, in the thick of that play, that 6th spot. You pointed it out, and you're right on, a 3-team race. For me, now you got to compile some wins. You got to get back up to 500 in the wins and loss column. And then you just got to start chipping away. And you can't scoreboard watch, so to speak. You put yourself into this hole where now you have to play 6 out of 7 points. Like you need points out of 6 out of 7 just to climb into this spot. And you kind of have to keep that going for a little bit longer. You're not there yet. But to your point about the puck luck, Nick Fazio, they're becoming much harder to score against early on in these games, coming out ready to play, which wasn't the case for the first 15 games or so. You earn your puck luck sometimes. The go-ahead goal on Saturday was because of a very lucky bounce off of the boards, and you just talked about that too. That was Matt Luff. And then they get their tying goal off a bad call when it was icing. Shouldn't have been icing, right?
Ryan pointed it out for sure.
Yeah. But look, I appreciate the honesty. Like, be a
me
homer,
too. I love that.
Be honest.
Like, that makes Ryan the best.
You learn from Ryan. He explains it very well, right? But it's true. Like, so you earn your puck luck. If you're not hustling back there, if you're not Matt Luff, if you're not lifting sticks, if you're not putting in the effort against the boards, these things don't happen. They happen for you, and then you're capitalizing on it. So you kind of make your own puck luck, Nick. So you're right on there. Thanks for the input.
Yeah, I think, like I said, those moments come from hard work, effort, discipline. And I think that they earned it. And I don't think Charlotte likes playing us. I really don't. And that's a tribute to the players. That's what makes them, that's like the step that's being taken here. And even Richard Brennan says first step's getting to 500. Again, Richard, you're right. Micro. I can't worry about the playoffs. I can't worry about it. No, let's get to 500.
Yeah.
Let's, if you want to look at it that way, that's a little bit different of a micro than my micro. But yes, it's got to be the little things. And that's what I think is going on here. So thank you to everybody for the fan rants. That there were like Matt said, some that were about the ECHL, and there's not much we can do. Katrina says, why does it look like Z is better in goal than Georgie? I don't know, Trini. Maybe he's just
better. But you're splitting hairs. But
I think Romanov is great. I just think maybe Z's better. And as we've talked about ad nauseum for 3 seasons, Z likes to ride the wave. And so when he's good, he's real good. He's great, and he rides those highs. And you hope those lows don't get too low. But when he's at those peaks, the guy's absolute stones. So I really do think that's sort of where they are right now. So. Yes, big thank you to everybody for the comments on the fan rants, the shares, the interactions. Thank you so much for getting involved with the time, effort, and energy we put into putting on a show for you. As we look forward, now we got obviously Christmas coming up, and then 3 what I call really big games before we even hit New Year's. This coming Saturday against the Providence Bruins, 6:05 start time. It is a Boomer Holiday Ornament giveaway to the first 3,000 fans. If you take those ornaments and you sell them on eBay, you are my least favorite type of person, but I don't judge. But don't do that. So enjoy the ornament, or just give it to a little kid, will you? For crying out loud, who's crying because he didn't get one because his dad wanted to eat at Red Rose. So please don't, be respectful. But anyway. Big game. Now this is the next, to me, the next level, right? You had to go to Lehigh Valley, you won. You had to go to Charlotte twice. You split, but you got 3 points. Can you do it at home now? Because the home record's not great, and Providence is a much better team than the 2 teams you just beat. So, okay, we're climbing that ladder. Let's see what you can do against Providence. And again, Matt, I don't know about you, but it's like, even if I don't, it's how I felt about the Patriots against the Bills. I don't expect a win, but does it look good? If you lose, but it looks good, I'll feel better about it than if you get blown out 5-2. Like, you lose 4-3, but you're fighting your tail off. I might be okay with that, but I got to see what it looks like. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you. I think this game is huge. And I think, look, the last time you played this team in their place, you beat them.
You beat them.
And
Yep.
so you have to expect the best effort. And I don't want to I'm going to talk a little bit more about what I mean by that when we talk about like, hey, what are we looking for next? We've been on a hot streak here, so I'm
We
going to save
have. We
that.
have to keep doing it. I know.
Yeah, so like, things to watch ahead. This is a big game. Fans, be loud, be supportive. I'm with you. I think this has to look good. You can't deny Providence's success right now, but I think you play this game, you play this team tough all the time. Like they really do. They play each other well. And now Springfield, we talked about this at the beginning, right? You go player to player, Brown, Pekka, right? Like you look up and down the lineup, and for every Merkaloff is a
Right,
Kastamaki. Is it like
yeah.
we've done that? So we know on paper roster, if you're matching rosters, you feel fine about it. But now the Thunderbirds are matching the level of confidence that the Providence Bruins are playing with. So I expect this to be a big game. And then you have Sunday's game, 3:05, 3 p.m. start on Sunday. This is their sensory-friendly game against Bridgeport. Expect a quieter game, but expect the fireworks. We've talked about this before. I would expect Kessie back in the lineup. We haven't seen him play in a little bit. Expect him in the lineup Sunday. Expect some fireworks early to kind of wake everybody up. But that is the sensory-friendly game on Sunday.
And just real quick, selfishly, that's the game where I'm going to have my entire family in the building.
Yep.
My cousin is going to be the military appreciation member of the game. So badass. The kid's awesome. So if you're at the game and the military appreciation thing comes up, give a little extra shout out to my cousin who's stationed in North Carolina and is coming up for the holidays. Obviously, just had a baby boy 6 months ago.
Oh, nice.
So a lot going on there, and just a great kid. I love him. So yeah, give a little love there. And then we are gonna, side note, because my ADD kicks in, Matt and I are gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do for next week's episode, because usually when there's a Wednesday game, we wait until it's over. And they do play next Wednesday, which is New Year's Eve. I'm guessing Matt and I are going to be in no shape to record a game on New Year's Day.
That's fair.
Just based on our lifestyles. So we're going to have to figure it out. Maybe we release before, maybe depending on how the weekend goes. Like, I don't know. We're going to have to figure something out. So just please bear with us. But
we'll keep you posted. We'll keep you posted.
Yes. So we'll be in the building. I'll be in the building on New Year's Day. I'm sorry, New Year's Eve, 3:05, again against Providence. It's a winning Wednesday. We're going to ring in the new year with T-Bird's cowbell giveaways to the first 2,500 fans. Thanks to Xfinity for that. So again, Providence, Bridgeport, Providence, 3 games in your division. A lot of points here at stake, and a lot of damage could be done in terms of which way this goes. If you play as well as you're playing, or if you fall into another hole. Big weekend here, and it's crazy to think about how just games in December can impact you in April. But this is it, man. This is it right here. This is exactly that kind of weekend.
Yeah, agreed. So here's what I'm looking forward to. We've been on a heater. I'm not going to go with a player. I'm going to go with what I want. What I'm paying attention to are the first periods. They haven't been bad. They haven't been dreadful. They've been fortunate enough to go into that first intermission, these last few games tied 0-0. They're still getting outshot, and at times heavily. So I'm looking for this first period, especially against Providence. You just beat them in their place. Now they come to your place. They come to the Thunderdome. You're going to get their best effort this first 20. They're going to be ready. So are you matching it? Providence is not the team you want to be chasing. And we've talked about it before. It just changes the whole dynamic. That's been a big part of this sort of point streak. They're not playing from behind, but they're also not playing with the lead because they're not scoring in the first period either. So can this team play with a lead going into the first intermission? And, how does it look, right? So I just think these first periods this weekend, against Providence, against Bridgeport. That's what I'm going to be keeping a close eye on. And just sort of how are they playing? Are they matching the intensity? Are they coming ready to play? Or are they trailing? Like, are they being reactive? Are they being proactive? That's sort of what I'm looking for. Goaltending has been hot. Both Georgie and Big Z have been ready to play. I would expect Z to get the nod against Providence. He's kind of owned them as of late. So I would expect that to continue. So now can the offense give them a little bit of goal support early? First period for me, mark it down. We're making our next TikTok video.
I'm glad you went with that because we didn't talk about this beforehand. I'm also going with a group or something that's not one particular player. I think that this is a great opportunity here for the power play to start clicking a little bit. And, Bridgeport's not great shorthanded. Providence is pretty good shorthanded. This is going to be, I think, the kind of weekend where you're going to make teams pay for bad penalties. And once you can start getting gift goals, dumb penalties lead to goals. Like that's such a massive change in momentum and it's such a swing. So I'm going to be following this power play unit big time this weekend. Providence, Bridgeport, Providence. I want to see them pot a couple of power play goals that can really shift the momentum in the game because hockey, in hockey more than any other sport, momentum is alive and well. So go out there and get the special teams. The penalty kill's been great. Let's see something on the power play.
There you go.
Whew. This was good. I feel better. It looked better, sounded better. A lot of energy here on this one.
I like it. Now, hey, I know we're over an hour, but did you wanted to get into some Christmas songs or what was that about? All right. So what do you got for me?
Well, I want to know what's your favorite. I don't know. Do you have a?
You know what?
I'm the music nerd. So
given a choice, if I'm home and Jill's put on some Christmas music, or if I'm driving by myself and I'm like, I don't want to listen to Christmas music, I put on Trans-Siberian Orchestra Christmas, and I love it. I blast. I'm such a nerd when it comes to that. I will blast Trans-Siberian Orchestra and just rock out in my car by myself. So give me any TSO Christmas. I'm happy. Other than that, like I like I'm not a religious person necessarily, but I kind of like Little Drummer Boy, and like if it's a religious Christmas song, if you want to go classics, I'll go there. But give me some TSO Christmas all day.
Did you ever hear of Gary Hoey? You ever listen to Gary Hoey stuff?
No.
Oh, I'll send you some. He's a guitarist and he does these like metalish versions of Christmas songs, and they're awesome. So you would like that if you're into TSO.
Where are you?
Well, I'm sort of, grew up Italian, and I grew up listening to Sinatra and Dean Martin outside of Christmas. Never mind when Christmas started.
Sure.
We were all Paul Anka and all that stuff. So I love the traditional stuff. Oh Holy Night, I think, is one of the most beautiful songs ever written. Not even Christmas songs, just that swell at the end. Mariah Carey crushes that song. It's just so beautiful that the big crescendos at the end. But I'm going to go off the radar, and I never hear it. And when I hear it, I have to seek it out. NSYNC's Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Nobody's making original stuff. And that song came out late 90s, early 2000s, an original Christmas song. It's got a great hook, a great chorus, good meaning behind it, positive vibes, positive energy. You can't listen to that song and not have a smile on your face. So I'm going to go with NSYNC Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays as the best song of best original song of the last 20, 25 years is NSYNC Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. If you watch the video, enjoy Justin Timberlake's Frosted Tips. They're perfect. They're perfect.
I may or may not have had my own set of Frosted Tips when I was in middle school.
Guilty. I think we all did. We all did. That's awesome. All right. So Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, the holiday season, man. There's nothing better. You guys know Matt and I were super into family, and I don't want to take up too much time, but kindness, love, caring, supporting your fellow man. Just no matter what your religion, the message is the same: peace, love, happiness. That's the hippie in me coming out, but we appreciate everybody. We hope everybody has a safe, happy holiday season. I know the weather today is going to get a little funky. If you're driving, just be careful out there. But thank you guys for all that you do for our podcast. And again, the reason why we sit down and do this every week is for you, because we know that you guys interact and you guys send us messages and say you love the episode, you hated the episode, you want to punch me in the face. No one said that yet, but they will eventually. We really do appreciate all of you guys out there for making this worth something to us, because otherwise, like I say, we're just talking to ourselves. So you guys make it worth it for us. So thank you, and
this all started on a deck, drinking some beers, having a cheeseburger, and you were like, "Hey, we were talking T-Birds anyway," and I said, "Let's make it a podcast," and we did. And here we are, 2.5 years later, and I'm having a blast doing it. I'm loving it. I wish I did this for a career instead of just a hobby, but it's all good, and it wouldn't be here without you, without the fans, without the likes, the subscribes. TDS Center for Social Communication and Social Learning, the MCU Center. If anybody's out there, you've got young boys, children. My wife and I are actually going to be hosting a soccer clinic there this winter. So like they're great for community stuff and landscaping that fits. Thank you for your support as well. Fans, get out there. Poll will be up. If you're listening to this, it's already up. Go on our Facebook, go on our Instagram, click the poll. I make that cool graphic because I have nothing else to do tonight. So I make the cool graphic, but I don't want you voting on that cool graphic in Facebook. Can you
put the graphic and then have the poll underneath it?
I know they don't let you do that. I don't know, because if it's a poll, it has to be like I can't insert an image on it.
Thanks.
Maybe I can. I don't know. I'm going to take another look at it, but it's a pain in the neck. Instagram's much easier. I can make the poll in the comments of that image, but Facebook, I haven't figured that out yet. I'll look at it again. But hey, vote. Number 4 seed, Hugh McGing. Number 5 seed, Will Bitten. You got Money McGing, bobblehead, Smitten for Bitten Instagram account. There it is. That's it in a nutshell. Hey, folks, happy holidays. Enjoy time with family, time with yourself. Take a moment to relax and reflect. Take a minute to watch some T-Birds in person or on TV. 2 big games this weekend. Big one on Wednesday. Let's get some dubs. Let's go T-Birds.